to ADVMoto Live number 25. It's a fantastic spring evening here in the Mid-Atlantic. We've got an awesome show for everyone tonight. You know, the ADV community really spans far and wide. It goes around the world, and one of the best things I like about the adventure community is the fact that there's so many people that partake in it. You know, in the past 10 years especially, you know, we have seen not only growth in overall riding, especially because of the COVID stuff, but women riders have nearly doubled to an estimated 20% of riders in the United States, which is awesome. Now, more than ever, ladies are building more presence across all genres of riding, and we are super happy to see this. So tonight, we're going to meet 3 bikers who are determined to make a difference, both at home and far away. All right, our guests tonight come from different backgrounds and at different locations around the U.S. as well, but that hasn't stopped them. They have found a common passion in motorcycles and inspiring all riders, currently working on continuing a series of motorcycle film festivals around the United States. Everyone, please welcome Michelle, Shana, and Liza from Rev Sisters.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing
Awesome.
good. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, great.
Awesome. You know, it's not bad over here. Not bad over here. Springtime is here. And so, I mean, at least where we're at. And so, you know, you can see the fever is out there. A lot of people are out riding, you know, dealerships are selling out of bikes. We've got a lot of new bikes that were launched this year, I think because of a lot of the funk from last year. So, you know, things are just kind of exploding, you know, it's great. So can you guys tell me, you know, or tell all of us, I'm sorry, you know, your names and where you're at and what you do. Shana, you want to start?
Sure, I'll start. I'm Shana Sanderson, co-owner and co-founder of Rev Sisters. We currently put on film festivals throughout the year. I'm located in New Jersey, right across the river from Philly. And that's about it for the moment.
Right on. And so what do you do with Rev Sisters?
Personally, whatever
needs to be done.
It's the 3 of us together. I primarily manage our website and our marketing content, or try to anyway.
Yes, well, in the digital age, that is a never-ending task that you could literally be doing 24 hours a day. I mean, it's crazy. Michelle?
Hi, I'm Michelle Lamphere. I live in Custer, South Dakota in the Black Hills. And I don't do as much as Shana does with Rev Sisters. She's being shy. She does everything, but I do a little bit of the social media post. And I support partnership relationships with our sponsors. And I am the CFO, which really just means I'm the bookkeeper.
Yeah. Everybody has an important role to play, though, right?
Right. We get to make up our own titles, so it's more fun that way.
That's awesome. And Liza?
Hey there, Liza Miller here out in sunny Santa Cruz, California. I am the host and producer of the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast and YouTube channel, as well as I operate the Recycle Garage here and so many other things. But Rev Sisters is just yet another thing I've added to my arsenal. And so glad to be working with these 2 women who are both underplaying themselves, because the reality is we take everything on, all 3 of us together. We are a great team, which is why we work together, because we can put out so much more than we could individually.
Absolutely. What is, if you don't mind my asking, what is Recycle Garage?
It's a co-op garage space here in Santa Cruz where for free we help people fix their bikes and teach them how to do it. We also give away free gear that we take in donations from, and just mentor people and new riders in general.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is it a fairly busy project? I mean, do you guys see, you know, a lot of activity on that year round?
Yeah, well, it's 1 day a week. It's on Sundays. And yes, it's hopping here every weekend.
Oh, that's cool. It's great to have, you know, something that builds community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's very important. And it seems like all three of you kind of really appreciate that and specialize in it. All right, so what kind of riding do you ladies do, and what bikes do you currently own or ride? Shana, you want to kick it off?
Sure. Mostly street riding presently. Look forward to getting a little more acquainted with dirt this season. Currently riding a 2007 Triumph Street Triple, and then I have a trusty 97 Ninja 250 in the garage. But I also have 3 children, and we're getting them all out on the electric dirt bikes before stepping up to gas. And then we like to keep Triumphs in the family, and my husband rides a speed triple.
That's awesome. So, how old are your kids, if you don't mind my asking?
Sure.
Trying to get more of an age range.
I have 2, wow, that's bad. I have a 4-year-old, and then we have 8-year-old twins.
How old are your kids, Shana?
4 and 8. Well, that's not too far from mine. I've got 2 boys. They're 6 and 9, and we actually just went to an off-road training course from DC Dirt Camps just this past weekend, and it was just fantastic. I mean, if anyone has never been to a training, whether you're young or an adult, it's amazing how much you can learn in one day under proper supervision. I mean, it's definitely worth it, and you make friends out there, and it's an awesome way to spend a weekend. There are worse ways to spend weekends. All right, that's awesome. And Michelle?
I have dual sports in my garage. So I've got a 2011 Kawasaki KLR 650, and I've got a couple of littler bikes, my KLR killer. I have a 2014 Yamaha XT250 and a 2004 XT225.
Wow. So how do you ride all those at the same time? I mean, that's a lot of bikes.
That's what my dad says. You only have one butt. You should only have one bike. But I totally disagree, as any respectable motorcyclist would.
Like shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I don't coordinate them with my outfit, but it depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you need boots. Sometimes you need dancing shoes.
That's right.
And they're not the same thing.
That's right.
That's right. That's awesome. So how much time do you actually, spend out riding? I know that's a trick question because almost all of us wish we could do it more, but
yeah, I don't get as much time riding as I'd like to, especially because I work in an industry. So I manage hotels in a really seasonal market. I have a little property in Custer, South Dakota, and I'm only open during the summer season. So in the winter, I like to go down to Baja, do a little riding Southwest or West Coast where it's warmer, because I can't get in as much riding time here in the winter. But yeah, I still get some riding in.
Do you ever go to Canada?
I have actually several times. In fact, I traveled for 2 years full time on my KLR and rode from Canada all the way to Ushuaia. So I've spent 2 years riding. So I feel like the last 5 years since I got home from that, I'm trying to make up for it a little bit by trying to hold down a responsible job and just not riding full time. I ride part time now.
Well, that's a fantastic journey. Did you put anything out about that?
Yeah, I actually blogged about it the whole way at sturgischeck.com, and then I wrote a memoir about it when I got back, and a how-to guide for anybody else who wants to do that type of a trip.
Oh, well, that's awesome. We should talk about that a little later afterwards, and see if there's something that we can't do with that to help get it out there and share it.
Oh, well, thank you.
And you could help by saying the name of the book, Michelle.
Yeah. Drop a plug.
There we go. Thanks, Liza. I do need a marketing coach. Can you tell? No. My memoir is available on Amazon.com. It's called The Butterfly Route. And then the other guide is Tips for Traveling Overland by Motorcycle.
All right. Nice. And Liza, your claim to fame?
Oh, are we talking about bikes or my claim to fame?
Both.
Let's see how many buses I jumped on my Schwinn back in 1976. No,
that's a great starting point.
Yeah, that's where it all starts, really.
That's right.
I know I have a Honda Africa Twin DCT, a KTM 990 SMT, KTM 690 Enduro, 2 KLR 650s because one is about to be sent up to Custer, so I'll have it there to ride with Michelle. Then I have a 79 XS 750 Street Tracker, a 75 KZ 400, and a 87 Honda Elite 250.
Dang, that is an impressive list of bikes, especially that Elite 250.
Well,
Yeah, I'm telling you, those are cool.
Hold
those
on.
are cool.
When I got it, it had 850 miles on it. I got it from a museum. It now has 3,000 miles on it.
Proper. Scooters can do mad miles. I've got mad love for scooters. We did a test here of the Honda's ADV150, and man, it's way more fun than people give it credit for.
Mm-hmm. And you can wear flip flops.
Yeah, sure. You can wear any shoes because you're not actually putting your feet on pegs and they're not shifting. You know what I mean? I don't even think scooters. There were some scooters I think a while ago. They had a foot brake on the right side or something like that. I haven't seen any scooters with foot brakes recently. I mean, is that like? I mean, do you think that's like a standards rule that was passed or something? Or I think it just made more sense to put it all in the hands.
I think, yeah, it just depends. I know on the older ones it has a foot brake, but on some of the newer ones it doesn't. You have right and left brake on the hands. Yeah,
that's cool. We got a question from Maryland Moto. He wants to know, how many KLRs are you up to now? How many did you mention?
I've got 2, but I'm sending one to Michelle's to live there. And here's a shameless plug, listing it on Twisted Road. So if you're going to Custer, South Dakota, and you'd like to rent the perfect bike to ride there, because there's over 3,000 miles of dirt roads there. The KLR 650 is a perfect bike. You can find it on Twisted Road, or reach out to Michelle Lamphere at her hotel in Custer, the Chalet.
Right on.
She'll hook you up.
Right on. Hey, here's kind of an off question, but I thought I'd ask all of you. What do you guys think about the new KLR?
I'm excited about it. I want to ride one.
Why?
It's just nice to see it come back. I mean, I'm a believer in its price point and its entry level, maybe more accessible for a wider variety of riders. I'm a KLR fan. I've ridden only a Gen 2, but I'm anxious to try the new one out. So yeah, I think the more competition, the better. The more options, the better.
Absolutely. Eliza, what do you think?
I'm not that interested in the new one. From what I understand, it's really just the fuel injection is the biggest upgrade, that it's still kind of the basic thing. And the thing I like about the KLR is you expect nothing and it gives you a little more than that. And you can fix it with a rock and a stick. And that's the thing. Whenever you ride that bike, you just have so much fun because it just gives you everything it can. That's it. And so I don't really expect it to get better and better. I love it because of it's just so basic. It's just basic, but it will do it. Yeah.
Hey, Shana, how about you? Do you have any thoughts on it?
No, not many. It's not really a bike I'm overly familiar with.
Oh, okay. Well, when it's time to get a dual sport, what were you thinking? I mean, like, are there any bikes that interest you?
So I was gonna ride around on one of Michelle's XTs for a little while.
Yeah.
Well,
she's done that already.
Made up my mind. Yeah,
that's cool. The XT250s are also super cool bikes. Both of the XT250 and the TW200s are just chock full of character and easy to ride. Well, all right. So, how did you ladies, first initially meet? I mean, it's very clear you guys have a very close bond, and you're very serious about your projects. But I mean, when did you guys eventually get together?
Who's taking that one?
Liza, that
was me.
You. How about you?
Yeah. So, it's been a few years now, but we were all kind of roped into this project founded by Haley Bell, who had the crazy idea to create a relay, around the world relay of women riders. And we were some of the small group of people who got sucked in and said, yeah, I'll help out. And then it kind of took over our lives because I don't think we realized how big of a task it was, but we did it. And amazingly so, we pulled this off with a small group of admins, but with a large group of women who showed up from, was it 78 countries?
79 we wrote
79 countries. Yeah.
Wow.
And with just 6 months of planning, and it took a year to go around the world, which we ended in March of last year was our
February. Yeah.
February final party right before the world shut down. And we pulled this off, and we worked so well together, we had to accomplish what we did. We had to be able to sync well. And the three of us worked so well together and we're such a powerhouse. We wanted to continue working together. And that's how Rev Sisters was born.
Well, right on. So on the WRWR, that's the World, what is it? The World Women's Relay?
Women Writers World Relay.
Women Writers World Relay. All right. I mean, how did you guys get involved in that in terms of being from the US, but it was an international kind of organized event?
Yeah, Haley Bell is a British female writer, and she put a social media post out there one day and said, "Hey, I'm at work, I'm daydreaming, wish I could be out on the bike like so many of us can relate to." And I just had this crazy idea at my desk today. What does everyone think about taking a baton and handing it from one woman writer to the next? Do you think it's possible that we could actually carry it around the world if we all pitched in? And within 24 hours, something like 300 or 400 people had responded to it. And I was in the mix in that first 24 hours and dropped her a line and said, "I'm in, count me in." I had just been home from traveling 2 years on the road, and had some experience with crossing international borders and route planning and things like that. So I told her if I could support her in any way, I would. And I think within that first week, we had a core team of maybe a dozen or 24 people that were stepping up to be administrators. And that's where the leadership team was really born, from that first message that she put out there.
Wow, that's kind of amazing. And it's the only relay like that that's happened. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's the only one of its kind in the world.
Wow, that's awesome. So that wrapped up. And it was successful. Then you guys continued to, and then you guys said, "Well, you know what? We should really work together." All right. So how did this turn into, the film festival? And what other ideas did you guys explore?
So the film festival was kind of my idea as somebody who loves everything motorcycles. I'm familiar with the film festivals that exist. I've also made a couple short films myself. So I'd entered them into the film festival circuit. And there's one in Toronto, there's one in Portland, there used to be one in New York. There's not a lot. And I thought, I think this is something that the motorcyclists want more. We want more. And there's more and more movies from either people going around the world and filming it, or from just short films, more people making them. And I wanted to be that bridge to get these to the motorcycle community, because I knew that there was so much out there. And so that was what I pitched, and they picked up on that too. And it sounded like a fun idea, and sounded like something that wasn't really being developed enough, especially in this country.
Yeah, for sure. I do know that there are some motorcycle film festivals, but I think some of them tend to be kind of niche. Like it's either adventure or it's general.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that. So, I mean, over the years, have you guys seen a growth in the submissions, and what kind of submissions, and what kind of creators do you guys see really getting into it now?
So we've definitely seen a growth in submissions for sure. And really we get submissions that run the complete gamut. I mean, adventure riding is a huge niche for our submissions. But we also have racing. We have, this year we're excited because we'll be opening up a novice category in our summer festival. So we're going to try to attract some different films. We really want everybody to be joining us. We've gotten some very Art Nouveau motorcycle films. So it's all over the place. Everything's coming in. So we always get excited when our submissions are open to see what new stuff we'll be exposed to, and all the work that filmmakers have put into everything.
Yeah, sure. Liza?
Yeah, I wanted to share one of the films that we are featuring that I really enjoyed is called Trailmaster. and it is follows a guy whose job it is to go out into, I think it was the Tillamook mountains up in Oregon, to maintain the trails for the riding season, and to see how much work it is. And it's not just him, it's been a family thing that I think his father and grandfather did also. And so there are these stories of kind of behind the scenes in the motorcycle world that tell you more about what's going on out there. And I just found that one to be fascinating.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So between all of the submissions, I mean, is there a place where most of them tend to come from? I mean, do you see a lot of them from, from East Coast, West Coast, LA, Chicago, New York, Orlando? I mean, are there hot spots for motorcycle films?
I think it's been a mix. So we've had submissions come in generally from 6 to 10 countries, usually for each festival. I think this upcoming event that starts soon, the Santa Cruz Motorcycle Film Festival, I think we've got 12 countries that were represented with submissions. So India, Spain, Pakistan, France. We've had South America. We've had just stuff from all over, Germany, which we love. Yeah. Some are foreign language films. So like we've got one from France, one from Spain that are subtitled. We have some from Indonesia in the past that have actually had people that speak English in the film. So it's really just a mix.
Wow, that's really amazing, right? So it's like you create this opportunity for folks just to kind of submit their works, and then you get stuff in from all over the world.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, motorcycling is global, and so are the stories that are out there, and that's what's so fascinating. And that's one of the things I wanted to share, because I'm the type of person who loves all things two wheels. I mean, just from the kind of bikes that I ride, I love it all, every single bit of it. So to see a movie on trials riding and global adventure and custom motorcycle building, that kind of stuff, I love it all. And it's so cool how much stuff is out there and how many people aren't aware of where to find it.
Yeah. That's absolutely. Trials riding is an amazing form of riding. I think now, like on some of the social media, we see little clips of some of these amazing things that they do, but you don't really ever get a sense of how large the trials community is in the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, they seem to be a fairly tightly knit sort of like community. They don't seem to be too interested in going out there beating on a lot of pots and pans. And I kind of have a respect for that, because it's just like they focus on their art, and it is really an art. Yeah. I mean, what some of the trials riders do, if you ask me, they're defying the laws of physics. Yeah. And some of them don't even look like they're humanly possible.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And then in the past year or two, especially, you see a lot of trials riders doing tricks on adventure bikes. Yeah. Like Tenere 700s, Africa Twin.
Africa Twin. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy, man. I mean, I would be dead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, if I got my bike into any of those positions, it would be purely on accident, and I wouldn't be enjoying the outcome.
I mean, yeah, they want to end the video just before it really turns south for me.
That's right. Yeah. Just before the broken body part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing that's cool is that the films are reflecting, like I said, what's going on out there. We've got 2 films that involve customized bikes that are both electric, because that is showing what is happening in the world right now. There's more happening with electric.
Yeah. What like percentage of the films would you say that are going to be up? I think it's next week. Are do you think feature, e-motos?
Well, like I said, we've got 2. The Charging Bullet out of United Kingdom, Colt Wrangler. He's a custom bike builder
in Texas.
In Texas, yeah, he built a Zero. He modified it.
So that'd be 10% of our films, because we've got 21 that we're showcasing in this event.
Yeah, so there's all different stories, and some are written scripted, some are just documentary style. They're all different.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you ever get like submissions from people that are just like check out me doing my tricks, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have to be like, that's really cool.
I haven't,
You know
we
what I mean?
haven't
Like,
had a lot of those
No,
yet.
No, not yet. We
But-
That's
might
good.
this
No.
summer.
I'm inviting those actually. We've, as Shana said earlier, we've got a new event that we're kind of trying to open up to, and that's during the Black Hills Moto Film Festival later this year in August. We're actually hoping we get newcomers to submit films, so we're expecting a lot of those. We would love to see that. I mean, we want to know what people are out there doing in the real world.
that's cool. You know, I guess in theory, what you could offer to do, and of course it would be work, but would be to say, you know what, submit your shorts, you know,
Yeah.
60 to
Yeah.
90 seconds of you making a statement on a bike, or you doing something crazy and special on a bike, and then sew those together.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Into
That's
whatever, I don't know,
fantastic.
20 or 30 minutes of kind of like a mosaic, right?
Yeah.
Of writers that, you know, I mean, let's be honest, sitting down and creating even a 10-15 minute, you know what I mean, video that has a story to it is not easy, right? And if
That's
you look
right.
at a lot of the social digital media, you know, it's really more tuned towards 15, 20, 30-second,
Yeah.
you know, bits of whatever, people dancing or whatever, whatever the latest
Right.
thing is, you know what I mean? So, you know, I don't know if it would even make sense to assemble a patchwork like that and just kind of, you know, like solicit, you know, that, I mean, I can't even imagine all the different kinds of things that would come in, you know what I mean?
Well, it's the stories. We love the stories, and everyone wants to hear these stories. Everyone's got a story, right? And, you know, Shana, who's the least experienced rider of us, who's not done something as big as ride all the way down to Ushuaia, but to me is just as inspiring because she's a mother who rides and is getting her children to ride. That's a story that's worth telling.
Yes, absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. And it's not easy. So, Shana, here's a question for you. Like, you know, a lot of, I think, the anxiety that a mother or parents in general would have about getting their kids riding is, oh man, it's so dangerous, you know, like my kid's
Yeah.
going to be 10 years old wheeling down I-95 with Mohawk helmets on. And that's just not the case. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, you know, I mean, why don't you have that same apprehension about it? You know what I mean? What do you think is different to you?
I'd like to say her children do have Mohawk bicycle helmets at the moment.
So does mine, actually. I have a guy who's got a lime green Mohawk bicycle helmet.
Yeah, rainbow unicorns and black spike mohawks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's right. It might even be the same one. I wouldn't be
Probably.
Walmart special, man. I got the same one. No, totally.
Yeah, right there.
It's probably the same one. And a place to put stickers on it.
Yes, which are all over it. All
Yeah,
over
all-
3 of them. actually.
That's right. That's
Stole
right.
all my
Start
stickers.
the sticker bombs early. That's right. That's right. That's right.
I don't think I have that apprehension because I know the way that I ride. My husband's also a safety instructor, so we're starting them out. Their bikes are most definitely underpowered, so they can't just open it up and rip. But we make sure they're wearing the gear. We're teaching them to look where they need to go and trying to start them off with that solid foundation early. I will be honest, when they get to their older teens and get their licenses, I'll probably be a little bit more apprehensive. But we'll see how their journey continues from now till then.
Yeah, yeah. I think the key thing is setting the right attitude.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And if they can get that when they're younger, it makes them more aware, safer, you know, riders or drivers. I think when they get older, you know what I mean? They're not, you know, like the motor engine is not a mystery. You know, throttle and braking is not a mystery. You understand that there's limits to all of these things, that there's limits to traction. And bicycling and motorcycling are wonderful ways to learn that. You know what I mean? So I think probably if you do it right, I have a feeling that the long-term payoffs are worth it. You know what I mean? But
I would definitely agree with that.
you know, but we live in a very cautious and litigious sort of like society. You know what I mean? And that can make it hard sometimes. You know what I mean? Well, awesome. So, you know, according to the latest numbers, you know, about 20% of all riders in the U.S. are now women. We already mentioned that, and this has doubled up from 10 years ago. So, from your guys' perspective, and maybe you see some of this in the film festival, but what do you think is the cause of this growth?
I think there's a lot of things that play into that. I think that there's increased visibility of women riding on social media. In YouTube videos, we see a lot of women traveling internationally, but also just doing local events, local rallies. And I think one of the biggest factors that's probably playing into that is the accessibility to find other women riders to inspire you, to ride with, to network with. There's everything out there from women's only schools to women's groups that, support women that are new to riding. So I just feel like because of social media, because of a lot of the support systems that are out there, women are realizing that they can get started in it. They're not as apprehensive. And I think they're just a lot more visible. So they're inspiring other women. It's sort of that we get to the so to speak tipping point, that once there's enough women out there in the world riding and other women see that, it really starts kind of a domino effect of inspiring other women to ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even think to a certain extent that the idea of, like lady riders is almost becoming mainstream in a way. I'm starting to see hints of it on like TV commercials and stuff, even from things like, insurance, banking, finance, you know what I mean? Like all these kinds of things you wouldn't normally traditionally, associate with motorcycle riding.
Right.
And in that case, when they do associate it, they're putting a woman on the bike versus a man, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
I think probably it's been a long time coming, because there's always been women riders in this country, right? But, we just haven't seen this sense of growth or anything like this. And have you seen that reflect in your in the film festival submissions over the past couple of years?
I think so. We've actually had a number of films submitted by female filmmakers, and then we've had some really cool films about women riders, women bike builders, women racers. So really, Shana mentioned earlier that we've had every sort of genre covered, and I think we've really seen women represented in a lot of those too, almost every genre, which is really inspiring. It's exciting.
Have you guys seen or noticed any differences, or are there, do you think it even matters, between the types of content that male versus female writers tend to generate? I mean, I've seen it in the print world, like as far as the writing style, not so much photography, but as far as the writing style, I mean, I have seen, kind of traces of about, how experiences are perceived, and like evaluated, you know what I mean? Between men and women, right? Couples or whatever, they see the exact same event, and the way that they extract meaning from it sometimes is different. You know what I mean? So, I mean, have you seen any of those kinds of differences in just as far as the content that's been submitted?
I think, I guess I can't say that it's really significantly different, but I think that there have been, and this is just me thinking of, going through the mental Rolodex of the films that we've had submitted for the 2 online events that we did last year, and then the upcoming Santa Cruz event next week. So now a total of 3 virtual film festivals. I would say that for the vast majority, the films coming in about women or by women seem to be really real and really inspiring and engaging. They're, I don't know how, without giving too much away, I don't want to necessarily share, but we've had some bios, some short documentaries on some women racers. And again, just some really inspiring stories. I think we've had some kind of artsy stuff come into, so it's just hard to say, but it's an impressive array of work. Liza, you might add more to that.
I think the bottom line here is that we're seeing it trend, but we want to see it more. There's not enough, which is why Michelle's festival, Black Hills, we're specifically going to have a section for female film. I'm sorry, you're newcomers.
Yeah,
Shana.
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. that will either be female filmmakers or female subjects, because we want to encourage that. We want to let people know we want to see more of it, and not just like I was saying earlier about somebody who's accomplished great things, but somebody's first day on the track, or just going for a group ride with their club, just those normal everyday things. I'd love to see those stories just documented, just simple little a day in the life of a female rider story.
Well, that's interesting. So what in your sense, or you could say personal definition, makes for a good story, whether it's whether it's a video or really anything else?
Real life.
Yeah.
Real life.
Anything that's real, that means something to that person sharing it, that they feel passionately about and believe in. So that runs the whole gamut.
Well, I mean, are there, for example, a good portion of life can be kind of mundane to people, and then you have a perspective thing that I think about, and this is kind of like, if you live in the motorcycling world and you work in the motorcycling world, or even if you just know how to ride, or you've done some cool trips like Michelle, to some people that is, otherworldly, right? That is some mind-blowing stuff. They don't know how you did it. They don't know if they could do it themselves and all other kinds of, but when it's you doing it, and let's say it's in the past, you don't think much about it. I mean, you've learned about it and you're never going to forget it. You know what I mean? But you just kind of file it away and then you go on to what's next, having built on those past experiences. All right. Okay, yeah, it looks like our stream is back up. Okay, sorry for that, guys.
Way to manage that in a fast minute.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, okay. So where were we? We were talking about the challenges of promoting the film festival. If we could just rewind for a minute, we'll have to edit some back when we do the podcast version of it. But I mean, what were some of the basic challenges that you had?
I guess I'll go all the way back to the beginning. I can remember that far back. No, that's fine. So I just started out by saying that we had just finished this whirlwind of planning a massive world relay with a phenomenal team, with thousands of women backing us up, helping us achieve, everything that we planned and more, and everything that they planned. And then we came back home, and we're finishing that up, and then it was the three of us spread across the US. So how do you develop a country or a company with three people that are, 1,600 miles between each one of them? So that we'd already worked really well for 2 years at that point. So we knew how to overcome the distances, but it was also learning the ropes of how to run a film festival. How do we get the submissions? How do we attract followers? How do we make people interested to hear what we're putting together and have to see? How do we pick the films? We love all the films, so why would we want to exclude anyone? Yeah. And what judges would be successful in helping us identify winners? And then, of course, we were 3 months into our company, don't even have our first event under our belt, and we have to do a massive pivot because COVID hit and everything shut down. So now we were facing, and we were really lucky. We had our first event, we had contracted with a great company, but we were contracted to be at a local facility in Santa Cruz. Facility is not the right word.
Theater.
Theater.
Yeah.
That's much better. And that was pretty scary as a fledgling company.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, you always have to put a lot out, and you're not really sure how it's going to be received. So, were you happy with the amount of submissions that you got?
We
for your
were.
first show.
Yeah. In fact, I think we were pleasantly surprised. There were some that we actually recruited. So we did a little bit of research online, and we were aware of some other films that had been airing at festivals. around the same time, and some new films that were coming out. Happened to have a few contacts that we could reach out to, and I think we did some of that legwork initially, just making sure we had some submissions. But in the meantime, word of mouth was getting out. We were doing social media posts, and we were out on a couple of platforms, so people were able to find us, and we got a lot of films just organically without having to seek them out. And we've had really good luck with that.
Awesome. So that sounded like it kicked off pretty well. I mean, you couldn't do, couldn't have much better start. Do you guys plan to take this to, like physical locations once some of this COVID stuff blows over?
Yes.
That was our initial plan. As Shana was saying, we had to pivot. Our initial plan was to do live events. So Santa Cruz was canceled because of COVID and, of course, travel restrictions and us wanting to make sure everybody was safe. So we canceled that event last May, and then didn't have time to pivot that event into an online event. But we were able to convert the Black Hills Film Festival in August and the South Jersey Film Festival in November to virtual festivals. And then this year, knowing that there were still a lot of variables in the air, we just decided to plan the whole year, all 3 events as virtual events.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart move.
Which, by the way, are free.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Opening weekend.
Thanks to our sponsors footing the costs of the events.
That was something that was important to us. Again, it's really about, for me at least, it's about sharing this passion I have and finding all of these great films and sharing them with everyone. So we wanted to be able to get those out there to people. And so, yeah, the first weekend, first 3 days is completely free. You can watch them free.
Wow, that's cool. We will definitely be trying to share that. You know what I mean? So COVID did have kind of an impact, on your plans, but it sounds like it's not really slowing you down any, right? I mean, it sounds like 2022, right? We'll be trying to get into some, into some more brick and mortar, places like that. Where would you like to see the show go, 5-10 years down the road?
Well, we probably each have our own dreams, but Liza, what's yours?
I mean, one of my initial concepts was to curate the festival and then take it on the road. And you could go to Austin, and you can go to Chicago, you can go to Denver, you could take it on the road to all these different places. Wouldn't that be cool, right?
Yeah.
Rather than having all these, we're having different films at each of our festivals because it's online, but that was kind of the original concept. Curate it, build it up, and then figure out how to package it and take it on the road.
And I'd like to see things eventually, and this might be 10 years down the road, who knows, but I'd like to see some representation internationally so that we're actually doing some events in other countries, kind of like what Liza's talking about, the road show, but maybe looking at doing something in the UK because there's such an enormous bike and motorcycling presence there, but other countries.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And another thing that's been lacking, I don't know about you, Carl, but I go to events. Actually, I do know you go to events because I've met you there. Don't you think that would be cool to have films playing, like to have a film tent or film night at some of these events?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of events would be welcome to have it.
Yeah, but it's lacking. I don't see it at events. So it's something that I have been bringing up to some events and saying, hey, what do you think about doing a mini film festival within it? And I'll curate it for you.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome, but y'all ain't never going to be at home. I mean, for real, that's gonna be all this time on the road, which can be fun, but sometimes the best bet in the world is yours.
That's right.
But I guess you just have to manage it, and that's what a team is for, right? So maybe you go to this one, you go to this other one, maybe divvy it up, kind of regionally. But Shana, we were talking about you're going to be moving soon. How would you cover, like the Mid-Atlantic?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, right on.
So we've already solidified South Jersey last year, and we do have another one slated up this year. So we'll continue to hold that festival.
Awesome. And Kevin Zucht, who's a regular chat room friend here, he says, Liza, that would bring more ladies out to events. Yes, and I think that is probably true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. Well, it's a bright future for it. So overall, you guys have a great project going on. Man, sounds like it's full steam ahead despite some of the setbacks. So if someone wants to participate in the event, how do they, or in the festival, how do they do it?
They just have to visit our website, revsisters.com,
Mm-hmm.
and you can find all the information there.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it is free, but you still have to register
Yes,
because these films are not just, we don't put other people's films out there. You have to register. But we've curated a really great selection. Again, my festival, Santa Cruz, it's a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
I just love everything. There's some racing, there's bike building, there's adventure. It's all those things. And anywhere from like a couple minutes long to 2 hours long.
Right on, right on.
And I might have a film in this festival myself.
Very, very cool. I think Michelle and I talked, and I showed her, I think the trailer and the festival cut of my film. I would probably also like to submit mine as well. But are there maybe 1 or 2 points that someone might want to keep in mind if they submit a film?
We would love to have yours, by the way. I think I've told you that before, but we'll be recruiting you. If we don't hear from you, we'll track you down.
I'm all for it. We can follow kind of up on that conversation later. But, if someone says, you know what, like, I like to mess around with my stabilizer and the GoPros, and I feel like I've got something to say, but I'm not going to submit it because, they're not going to take it because, I don't know if it's any good or not. What do you say to them?
Well, first and foremost, I think the perfect place for them might be the newcomer event, those categories that are coming up at the Black Hills Motorcycle Film Festival in August. I'm actually already taking submissions. Again, you can go to revsisters.com and find out how to submit for that next festival. And keep in mind that all the submissions that we get don't air. We make official selections. So if it isn't a piece that we feel is quite ready for public or isn't going to fit maybe with what we're wanting to share, it might not, but that's okay. So don't be afraid to ask for feedback. And we appreciate everybody just being excited and getting out there and sharing their moto experiences with us.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you're asking like if somebody wants to put a film in for the festival, tell a story. Don't just show like gnarly crash videos, but if you just tell a story about how did that make you feel, and did you have hesitance getting back on riding after an accident or something like that, tell a story. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, Shana, what do you think?
It's all about the music.
It's all about the music. She's like, I don't care about the story. I just want to kick you in the beats. Yeah. Well,
no, I think they should go for it. You don't know what you're going to accomplish unless you just do it. I would say we're open to taking a look at everything, and like Michelle said, we're really willing to provide feedback. We're here for the moto community, and that comes with everything that comes with it. So bring it on. If you really think it's too novice, that's why we're running the new categories in the summer, to try to encourage some people to maybe step out of their comfort zone and try something a little different.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Shana would also say make it short, because she's got 3 kids. She falls asleep if they're too long. No, there's 3 categories. There's ultra short, which is up to 10 minutes long, and then shorts that are 10 to 30 minutes, and then feature, which is 30 minutes plus. So it doesn't have to be a long story. It can be something simple, reflective. It really doesn't have to be too complex.
Awesome. Well, all right. It's been super cool, but want to see if you guys have any parting words of inspiration for future riders out there. Shauna, you want to start?
Again, same as with the film festivals, you have to get out there and do it every chance you get. As a mom, I don't get out nearly as much as I'd like. Between Rev Sisters and working an actual full-time job, definitely don't get out as much as I'd like, but just go any chance you get. Everything you do will make you improve, and you can definitely do it.
Right on. Michelle?
Oh, I would say definitely be a member of your moto community. Find other riders and share experiences with. I think some of the best experiences of my life have come from the connections I make through motorcycling and the experiences that I have through motorcycling, whether that's traveling on my own or meeting up with other people along the way. But motorcycling in general enriches my life. And I'd love to think that it does for other people. And if they have a story that they want to share, as Liza says so eloquently, make a good story. And we'd love to see that in film if that's a possibility.
All right. And Liza, you want to bring us back to home base?
Take a class.
There you
Ding,
go.
ding.
That's what I say. Be the best rider you can. Give yourself all the tools you can. And there's so many classes out there, anywhere from doing something, like a rawhide adventure. And there's classes all over. There's moto camps all over, or some like our local dirt biking park for like $40 offers a basic class. They give you all the tools. And I think everyone should take any class they can get.
Awesome.
Here.
Here. Yeah. Cannot agree with you more. Well, all right. Thank you very much for your time tonight. Please hang around for a few minutes, but it's been great talking with you. And like I said, we will catch up in a minute after everything wraps up. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Carl.
Thanks.
Well, all right. Thanks again to Michelle, Shana, Liza for taking the time to be with us here tonight. Their story goes to show that the unifying power of riding kind of brings all people together, whether to create, share, or inspire. The differences between us should not divide us, but they should make us stronger together to achieve a shared or common dream. And as Amelia Earhart once said, no borders, just horizons, only freedom. So please be sure to check out RevSisters.com. We got the URL right here. And the upcoming Santa Cruz Moto Film Festival, which I believe is next week on May 14th. So it's coming along. If you guys get this message, hop on there right after the show. Go check it out and register. But on to our really exciting news for the next show. All right, we're super pumped going into our June show for ADVMoto Live number 26. That's a lot of ADVs. Join us next month. We are going to be diving into the world of Harley Davidson's hot new entry to the adventure market, the Pan America. This has been teased for quite some time. A lot of us have all kinds of opinions about it, but come hang out with Kelly Quinn, also known as Throttle Girl, Paul James, he's the senior PR, and Matt Paradise, the lead engineer for Harley Davidson America, for a really exciting night. We'll be talking about how the Pan America came to be, current riding impressions, and where they hope the bike will take us down the trail. So as always, your support means a lot and keeps the motorcycle world running. Visit adventuremotorcycle.com for more stories, news reviews, podcasts, and more. And don't forget to mash and like that subscribe button and let us know what you'd like to see on the show in the comments below. And until next time, from everyone here at ADVMoto, ride safe, have fun, and the adventure is you.